Okay, so here we go. We're installing the mixer lift. It's a bit interesting. We actually picked this up in the as-is section at Lee Valley. So we're hoping it works properly once it's all assembled. There's 2 springs there that'll go underneath on both sides. And he's putting the work top on it now. And we're going to put a little lip to kind of grab it. So he's putting an extra piece underneath to wedge in between the 2 pieces of wood. The metal will be wedged in between the 2 pieces of wood. And then there'll be a front on. So you'll have a little lip to grab with your hand to pull it up. So he's just pre-drilling some holes for that little piece of wood to go underneath. There's 2 holes that it could go in the middle part and then up into the other part.
Hopefully I measured right.
Yes, hopefully I measured right. So it kind of sandwiches in the middle. So when you go to pull it, you're pulling the metal through these 2 screws. Just use some Craig washer head screws. Nice big flat head on it to grab the wood. And luckily it fit through the hole in the metal.
I measured right.
So now we have a bit of a gripper to pull it up, and then there'll be a little piece on the front. But he's made some nice rounded edges on, which looks really good.
Sure.
And we'll go glue and finish nail that on. And I'm going to cover the whole thing with some... Actually, I didn't sand the top yet, eh?
No, you haven't sanded it.
So this is actually just sort of a 2x4. It's the edge of a 2x4 cut off and then rounded the corners.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put urethane all over it so that if we spill any batter on it, it'll be able to wipe off easy.
I wanted to get the Bessie clamps that would fit this. Only have the short ones here.
Oh, the long ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You sure they won't fit? They're pretty long.
Maybe. Well, it's 15 inches and a bit. So.
They look pretty long, actually. We got a bunch of Bessie clamps from a retiring woodworker. No, I think he was downsizing. That's what he was doing.
Nope.
Not quite. It looks like it's sort of parallel with the work surface. We lowered it a bit because we weren't sure the mixer. It said it went for 16 inches high. The mixer's 17. So we lowered it a bit. It doesn't matter to me if it comes up parallel to the work surface because I'm kind of short and I don't mind it down a little bit lower. And it's not like it's really an extension of that work surface because when the upper cabinet goes on, there's only maybe, I guess, 8 inches of countertop in front of it because the cabinet sits right on top of it. And I don't know if we're going to make the cabinets 15 inches, something like that. We have to measure what's going to go in there to figure out what ideally would be the best size for that. And we have this really fun angle going on this cabinet. I wanted the mixer lift as close to the wall as possible. And I think this ends up being 25 inches. So the upper cabinet will make 25 inches to kind of match up with that one. It won't necessarily match up over there because that'll be above the refrigerator. And the refrigerator, I guess it will be pretty close actually because this cabinet here with the countertop will come out 25 inches. So it'll be about the same distance when that wall's finished. That's the refrigerator that sticks through to the dining room. So we need to keep enough space between these 2 cupboards so that when the face frame and the drawer front are on both sides, that this drawer won't hit this drawer when it comes out. So we figured it needed to be about 3 inches. We don't have all these screwed down yet, so we have to just remeasure before we screw them in. And we just have an old door on here right now. I picked up these ceramic tiles. We're going to give this a try for the 2 cupboards beside the stove. We need to finish, the toe kicks aren't made yet, so they're going to be raised up. And then piece of, probably a piece of 3/4 inch because these are really, I think their wall tiles are fairly thin. We'll give it a try. If they get cracked, take them off and we'll do something else for countertop there. I just wanted something that could withstand the heat of the stove. And also, when you have something hot you need to put down, you don't have to worry about hurting it. I think the epoxy would have been fine, but I'm not sure being beside the stove, it's fairly warm all that time, how that would have played out. But anyway, there's the fridge. There's tons of room behind the fridge. It's actually not a built-in fridge. We don't have the frame on the outside yet, but he was talking about cutting the drywall up just a little bit higher and then lowering the frame on the outside so it gives a nice finished look, but actually is a bigger bit of gap to pull it out if you ever have to. So he made a round external receptacle for that because of the BX wiring and trying to get it all into the box because it's attached to the plugs that are on the other side of this wall. So just to have a lot more space to use one of these octagonal boxes with an outlet on it. It's kind of fun. You can get an outlet for an octagonal box, but we have it shimmed, but it's still a little bit wobbly right now. So before we close everything up, we need to figure out what's making it shake. Just get back, pull it back out and have a look at what's not level down there and make that work. Lots of room there for it to breathe. Okay, so since we got the right clamps, we don't really need nails now. Our tight bond is right there on the wall waiting for us.
Coldest clamps you've ever had.
I bet they're cold in the garage. They'll warm up here. Nice warm stove here.
We put them in the oven for a bit.
Fairly dusty, but it's hard to keep the dust down because the ceiling is still not done. That is, what is that, tomorrow's job? Yeah. Party in 2 weeks in this kitchen.
Yeah, I'll get to it at some point.
Maritime kitchen party. It means this has to be done. It means that mess of our temporary kitchen needs to be put back in here, organized, and all the stuff. I don't even know how far we're gonna get, but because the pantry wall behind me is not done yet either. That's a lot to do. There's the ceiling tiles anyway. Most are ready to go up. There's 4 left in my paint room that need, I think 2 of them need one more coat, but they need to be put on the wood. And there's one that it didn't come out well because the spray paint came out chunky. I'm going to attempt again to sand it down and see what I can do with it. And we'll put it up, and if we have to live with it, we live with it, or I'll order another one. But then there'll be like an empty hole in the ceiling. We'll see.
Some people use rollers to put this on.
Lick the right finger, not the left. Or the wrong, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people sniff glue. You're trying to eat it. I'm not sure.
I'm actually pretty sure I'm not eating it.
Okay, good.
All right.
Eating would be bad.
So this should be lining up with the bottom metal piece.
Well, yeah, it sticks a tiny bit just to cover the edge of the metal, right?
Yeah. Tiny bit.
Because the metal kind of stood a bit proud.
Yeah. Okay, so this is coming up here. I wonder if I should do this. Yeah, okay.
So when it's all dry, I'll sand it all down. Really, really smooth, because this will be something you're going to touch. Yep. I sanded all the inside the cupboard down, but I made it so it was nice to touch. Then I urethaned it, and I said, that's it. I don't care how many fibers coming up. This I'll actually go back over again with 220 to recoat it, just to make sure that any wood fibers that come up will be smooth when I put the next coat of urethane on.
Should have grabbed 3. Not getting dressed to go outside again.
No.
Old clamp.
Yes, there's a broken
bits and
handle.
pieces missing. There we go.
Should we attempt to put the springs on while this is drying?
I don't know. There.
What is that tool?
Hey? Put the springs on.
Oh, that's a handy tool. Extra little gripper.
Yeah.
Well, and what we had done, we didn't actually put backs of the cabinets on. We clad the inside, the wall, because as you see the wall is open there. We just clad the wall with this 1/4-inch plywood that we had, which looks really nice when I put the urethane on, nice and dark.
Underlay.
It's underlayment. Oh, that's right, it's underlayment. And it's, it looks almost reddish. It looks really cool. And so that's underneath all the cabinets. So we're gonna pull them all out. We actually have to pull this pot rack one out to put a brace for the pot rack. It needs 1 bar across the back. And then once we get that done, we'll pull them all out a smidge, flush them all up across the front, screw them together where they attach, because there's one cabinet, which is the 2. This is number 2, that's the sink. There's 3 that has the pot rack, and there's a skinny cabinet beside it. And then this is 4, which is the lift, and this little angle one, which is going to fit my little pans perfectly on there.
You may have to sand this.
I will sand it, definitely. So yeah, there's actually 4 cupboards here that have to be screwed together, and then pushed back to the wall, you know, as level as one can get in a 80-year-old house, and all that fun stuff, with some shims and whatever we need to get it against the wall properly. He's actually pulled out. He's put some more studs in to make it as flush as possible. So we'll see how that all turns out. We need to put a few more braces up for shelving, I think.
No, because we're going to have shiplap up against it.
So, oh, that's right. The shiplap is be against this
so
wood.
So essentially 1x6s that are there. So
yeah, that's right. And then we're going to have some floating shelves up there, 8 of them, I think, or at least 6. So this pot rack, I was going to have it in the higher position, but a drawer at the bottom. But I can't remember why we didn't do that. It was just easier to do it on the bottom and then figure out what the highest pot is and then put a drawer top.
Because if you wanted to do it at the bottom, then the amount of space that you had at the bottom was not enough for a whole drawer.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Knew there was a good reason. And this will be a door. This will be a door, and that will be a door. And because I lose a lot for the upper cabinet with that angle, I want to keep cookie sheets and stuff up high, like vertically filed, but it won't work as well with that angle. So I'm going to use this cupboard for all that, for any tall cookie sheets here. Then there'll be a shelf across the middle, and then whatever else is going to sit there. And then all my shorter pans, like a 6-cup muffin tin kind of idea, or the pans that are half size for my aga, will go in this one, and I can put 2 shelves, and then we could vertically file, sort of like 9 slots, I think. So this will be like all the pot and pan area, and then the baking area, which goes with the pans, and all the baking supplies will be in the upper cabinets. Measuring cups and scales, and there'll be some flour and sugar and all that kind of stuff will be up there too. That's the plan so far. That's the plan. Try to get the spring on. It doesn't really give any directions how to do this, and springs can be dangerous. So, time to put the springs in, which seem to be challenging. So, explain to me what exactly you did here.
Well, I was trying to do it with this board, which is for the trampoline, to do the springs. But there's not enough room to do it, and these things only fit over that little knob there. There's no room for this, so that didn't work. So then I figured it needs to be about 1 inch and a bit longer, so if I stretch the spring out by basically wedging something in between, and now it's sort of the appropriate length, so I can just put it on, and then when I lower this down, it stretches the spring, and all this stuff should just fall out.
And those things are?
These are nails, brad nails.
Brad nails, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to say what I did than to actually do it. Takes quite a bit of time. The other one is slightly bigger, so I may have to use a screwdriver to do this. Oh yeah, these. This one is straight, this one is not, so it has a little bend to it. There we go. Look at that.
Wow. Think the glue is dry yet?
See?
Yeah. They almost all fell out.
Yeah, well. Sometimes you gotta think outside the box. And
think outside
let me tell
the
you,
nail gun.
Yeah, this was outside the box.
There. Springs
There we go.
are on.
Springs are on.
Don't step on any, eh? They're nails.
I don't think they're sticking out. There.
Anyone get a broom?
Hey?
Anyone get a broom?
Magnet.
Oh, a magnet. That's a good idea. Try her
So-
out. Just push her down, pull her up.
Wow, that's quite a bit of
Tension?
stress. Oh, yes. But it closes. Or lowers, whatever you want to call it.
Oh. Moment of truth.
Look at that.
Needs to be dusted. Seriously. Well,
Right. So now the thing is, will this clear? Nope. It doesn't clear it.
Uh-oh. Okay, do we have to lower the whole thing?
Yeah, we gotta lower it.
Well,
That's
okay.
alright. That's only 6 screws on that side and 6 on this. So. Yeah.
Does that work with the spring still on it?
Oh yeah. That'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, it was saying it was only for 16 inches, and we tried to lower it to begin with to make sure that we could clear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still not enough. We don't really know how much to lower it either because you don't really know how much it's going to swing up.
Well, it's got to clear it from here, right? So whatever that position is.
If you just drop the top bracket down to where the bottom row of screws is. You know what I mean?
Drop it here.
Yeah. That's quite a bit. It should work. Okay. Mixer, take 2. The front. Lost a foot.
Okay.
And there we go. So we lowered it where it was.
Twice.
Lowered it. We flipped the top and bottom screw around, and then we lowered it yet again. And we moved it forward because there's no way that it's going to meet up with the countertop at this point anyway. So what was the point of having it set back so far? So.
All right.
Ooh, looks like we just cleared. Clicky click. Clicky click. There, so it's that much lower than the countertop. It's a bit dusty and disheveled looking,
Just
but
a tad.
are we even near level? Yeah, these brackets sort of make things. I wouldn't say the level was the goal they were aiming for, but anyway. Oh yeah, the cupboard's kind of leaning forward a bit. We need to really screw that cupboard to the wall.
It helps a bit.
Yeah. I have just enough room at the bottom to put a little drawer for the accessories, which are sitting. Some are sitting in the.
Yeah,
bucket
there's,
right now.
There's still room for that.
Yeah, still room for a little drawer. You can't go to the full depth because of the angle, but we can get quite a bit in there. Probably my 16-inch drawer glides. I have no issue fitting in that space. After we clean up all the screws and the nails and everything else. We'll take it off tomorrow and I'll do the sanding and stuff tomorrow. It's 1 a.m. I think it's time for bed. What do you think?
As usual.